Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. I'm so excited to share this with you. This is my Canucks Draft special video series. I'm going to be doing a ton of draft content. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Maybe there's some that's already been pumped out that you need to go back to and check out. But I've got a ton of videos prepared and it's going to be great. So as Canuck fans, we are very excited about the draft because we're terrible. We're the worst team in the NHL at the moment, but we need to remind ourselves that rebuilds take a lot of work to get out of the cellar, and it's going to be a number of year process. So these draft videos are going to continue even into next year, but we're just going to be talking about this year right now. We know that some rebuilds are as short as 3 years and some are as long as 8 to 12 years. We hope that we don't have to do that. Okay, the Canuck fans, we have one goal in mind at this stage. Losing equals winning. Made a video on that before, right? We want to come last place because our number one goal is to win the draft lottery. And the best percentages and odds are there in that lottery. So I'm going to post the odds right now. So as you can see, first place or last place equals first, losing equals winning is 25.5%. And if you come second to last, then it's a 13.5% rate. And I want to make sure, and third is 11.5%. So as you can see, it drops significantly. And so if you get last place, the worst you can get is third place in the draft. That's as far as you can drop. Other teams can come up higher, but as the last place team, the worst you can come is third. Knowing the Canucks luck, we'll probably come third. But I'm hoping we win the draft lottery for the very first time. That would be awesome. So there is going to be so much that we're going to do, and I can't wait to share them with you. So thanks again for watching. My name is RevTrev, and here's my Canucks draft video. So today's very first video is going to be on the big question, number one and number two right now, Stenberg or McKenna. I get the hype. We're going to dive into both of these players and do extensive things. I'm going to share with you what I think we should do. I also get to share with you what I think the Canucks are going to do, and I can't wait to dive in. I've been dying to make this video for you guys, so pumped that you're here. Let's get into it. All right, let's dive into the conversation, everyone. I was going to make two videos on this, but I know that each Canucks fan wants to have this big conversation. And please post in the comments, who would you draft first overall if you were the GM for the Vancouver Canucks? Now, I did do a poll, and I already know what the majority of Canuck fans want, who they want to draft. But let us look at this objectively before you make a decision. Okay, let's do that before you make a decision. Now, and if you like Canucks content that is realistic, honest, or passionate, realistic, and honest, please hit the like and subscribe, everyone. I'm trying to continue to pump out great content. So the big question, who would you draft first overall? Now, when you look at what's been going on, let's start with a guy like let's go with McKenna to start. Okay, so as you can see here, left winger, okay, age 18, 6 foot, 170 pounds, Canadian, and his skill sets are incredible. Cerebral tactician, heavy shooter, and offensive forward, and that kind of sounds like what Vancouver Canucks fans are looking for. We need offense. We need someone who's going to wow the crowd. We need someone that's going to produce. That's a key word there too. Produce. Okay. Now, it depends which board you see. And if you look at all the different boards, it's either McKenna number one or Stenberg number one. And everyone's got the other guy number two. There's two guys. It's a 2-horse race, everyone. I don't see any of the defensemen, any of the centers at this stage getting as much hype as these two. Now, a team can totally shock us, right? But it's these two. So we're going to start with Gavin McKenna. As you can see right now, he's playing for Penn State. He's played 30 games. He's been on a tear since the World Juniors. He's in his 30 games. He's had 13 goals, 33 assists, and a 46 points. He just had an 8-point game with 1 goal and 7 assists. And a lot of people are like, why is he playing the NCAA? Well, look just on the line lower. When the Medicine Hat Tigers, he played 56 games. He had 41 goals, 88 assists, on 129 points. That's top 5 numbers in the WHL for anyone. And then he's like, I want to go down and I want to play for Penn State. I've heard good things about their program. And I'm thinking, man, that's awesome that he had the option to do both. And this is what we're talking about here. And then we've all seen him at the Canadian, on the Canadian Team Canada World Junior team, 7 games, 4 goals, 10 assists, and 14 points. Now, when we look at that World Juniors game, there's a couple things that I want to mention. And a lot of those points came from what I would consider weaker teams like Denmark and different games like that. Now, he had some good games and good opportunities. I mean, he's still young. Don't get me wrong. He's still young on this roster. And he's a very good player. And I'm not going to discredit him at all. But if you're talking about, if we know a guy who is a very skilled forward who often shows up against the bad teams and disappears against the great teams, we know that as Elias Pettersson's been that guy for us. We know that. There's been times where he's played excellent, but that's the only thing that kind of worries me about Gavin McKenna is like when you play the big boys, when you play the big teams, do you produce? And that is a big chunk of that issue there, right? And so Gavin McKenna has incredible skill sets. And he needs someone to play with. So maybe an Elias Pettersson would be a guy that would be able to, bring out the best in him. I'm not sure, but we'll find out if he gets drafted to Vancouver, right? Now let's look at Stenberg. And Stenberg is also 18, but he plays left and right wing. He's 6 foot, 181 pounds, from Sweden, as we know. He's also, his skill sets are the same in the way of cerebral, tactician, dangler, playmaker. Again, what the Canucks need, right? So going to be either pick first or second. Whoever gets that first pick and picks whoever they want, the next guy's going next. And if you look at these numbers, he's playing in the SHL, 38 games, 11 goals, 21 assists, 32 points. And you're saying, hey, listen, he's playing not as good as McKenna is in Penn State. Well, the SHL is men. They're grown men who are playing there, everyone. This is a professional league. And guys like the Twins and Naslund and Forsberg, and when we're talking about these kind of guys, they played in this league, right? I even believe that Pettersson played there. It's a great league for people to develop. And then we saw him in the Swedish Team Sweden World Juniors, 7 games, 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. And this guy's just as good. And this is the thing that's hard, is everyone's kind of, I feel like Canuckland has just sat there and they just say things like, you know what? This is a no-brainer. It's McKenna. It's McKenna. It's McKenna. And you know what? I would be happy with McKenna. I definitely would be happy with McKenna. But if we landed Stenberg, whether the first pick overall or the second or the third if he dropped, I would be over the moon excited. This guy is super talented, everyone. This young man is a very good hockey player. And I just feel like Canucks fans are just sold on the one guy. And that's what a lot of fan bases do in every single fan base. Doesn't matter what league, you get fixated. I want this one player. And I'm kind of sitting there going, I'm happy with either, honestly. If we land Stenberg, that is incredible. And you think about Pettersson and Stenberg together, that's a great combo as well. And we'll see how it goes. But maybe McKenna and Stenberg, they won't play on that quote unquote top line. Maybe they're with Rossi or whoever our second pair. I mean, maybe it's Coots down the line, whoever it is. And, you know, is it better to have Coots and McKenna or Coots and Stenberg or Pettersson and either one of these guys? I mean, too bad we couldn't get them both, one on the left, one on the right. You can't do that, right? But these guys are super talented. Now, they're not deemed as a generational talent, so that's the thing. But who has the bigger upside? And a lot of people want to do that cultural nationality card where we don't need any more Swedes. And I'm just thinking, man, if you get Stenberg, you should be really happy. Like, honestly happy. So, okay, so let's dive into this conversation a little bit more, shall we? Because this is very, very interesting to me. And again, post in the comments who would you draft first of overall if you were the GM for the Vancouver Canucks. I would think the majority of you have already typed in McKenna. And that it's like McKenna or bust. Now, my personal opinion was I would be happy with either. If we got second pick and we end up getting Stenberg, or we got, you know, second pick and we got McKenna, I would be happy. If we got first pick and we pick either one, I mean, I know that if the draft happens and they take Stenberg, I'm going to be sitting there going, I'll be a little disappointed if we had first overall and we didn't go get McKenna. Like, honestly, I have him slightly ahead. I'm talking about 1A, 1B, and maybe I'm wrong because there's a lot of scouts that have Stenberg over McKenna. There's a legitimate argument to be had. So I'm sitting here going, if it was me, I would pick McKenna. Now, here's the other thing that we need to talk about is I think that the Canucks have Stenberg as their number one. I really do. And I know that's probably really discouraging for you to hear, but I'm telling you again, I do not think you should be upset about that pick if they win. It makes sense with the Swedish connection with Alvin, Rutherford, Pettersson, DPD, Verlander. You've got Marcus Pettersson. You got Höglander on this team. Like, you've got all these Swedish connections, and it's hard to move from one country to another and to feel comfortable and feel welcome. Vancouver is the most welcoming spot to land a Swedish player. Plus the Twins. The Twins are still in town helping out with the team, with Abbotsford, with this team. Guys, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I think that the Canucks will draft Stenberg if we get number one. Now, here's the other thing, okay? Rutherford did say that they're looking to get more Canadians on the team. So there's a major shift I think there's a disagreement that's going on that Alvin and Rutherford, Alvin would pick Stenberg and Rutherford would pick McKenna. Again, either one I think would be fantastic. And this is the hard thing. So is there going to be a defenseman that's going to leapfrog one of these two guys? Maybe, depending. Like, Schaefer has looked phenomenal. There's some really amazing defensemen in the draft. By the way, my next video is going to be about the defenseman, and I'm going to start with Verhoff and go from there. So you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to do one about the centers. I'm going to do one about the second round. So make sure you're watching, okay? But if that happens, and if we get third pick and we land McKenna or Stenberg at 3, we should be over the moon excited, because I think McKenna and Stenberg both have the talent to play next season. And whether they should or shouldn't, I don't know. But I'm at that place where I think they should definitely be there. Now, a lot of people want to talk about trading Pettersson and blah, blah, blah. I understand the frustration. He's struggled for 2 years. I get it. This team has also been riddled with injuries. And I think that Elias Pettersson has a lot of skill sets. He's got an amazing shot. He just needs to shoot more. He especially needs to shoot more on the power play. He also is an elite passer, and he's an elite forward defender, right? He's got that skill set of playing a two-way game. Now, you might say, well, we don't need any more Swedes like Pettersson, who always gets knocked out the puck. Okay, that's fair. I get that. Stenberg is different, I think, guys. He's not one of those kids that's just going to be easy getting knocked off the puck. And he's going to have some great, because people just say no Swedes. And I'm like, well, what about Forsberg? Did you imagine we're drafting a Forsberg and Stenberg or whatever, name whatever guy? There's been some real workhorse Swedish players. So I'm not into this conversations. We only need Canadians or Americans. Okay. Even though it's traditionally been very good, but there are exceptions to the rule. And I think Stenberg's one of those guys. So I don't know how you're feeling about it, but when you look at those stats, when you look at McKenna just, and he's got the wow factor a little bit more. I think Stenberg is more the steady Eddie kind of guy. I think they're both going to have long careers in the NHL. So here's the other thing, if you don't have success in the few years, in the, early at the entry level contracts, which one's going to want to move? And I'm thinking Stenberg might be like, hey man, the Canucks is where it's Swedenville, right? So it's just something to think about. Would McKenna pull a Johnny Gaudreau or a Matthew Tkachuk or, a Quinn Hughes and want to play somewhere else? I'm not sure. But what I like about him is he's from Whitehorse, Yukon. He's a good kid. Now, a lot of people are asking the question, does his draft stock drop with that incident that he had where he's been charged with assault or whatever I don't know what the official title is. I think it is assault, but apparently, allegedly, he was defending his mother's name and honor and hit a guy a couple times, broke his jaw. I feel bad for that other guy, but so there are some legal things, and a lot of people say that doesn't actually decrease, but it increases his value because they want someone that's going to stick up for their teammates. But you don't want your stars sticking up for the teammates. We've already had that problem in Vancouver with Bertuzzi. You need to have some kind of an enforcer, some kind of tough guy to protect the Petterssons and the McKennas or the Stenbergs of the world, that they don't need to be fighting. Just in all honesty, guys, that's the last thing we need is that kind of thing. Like Pavel Bure, for example. Pavel Bure took matters in his own hand, punched a guy and broke his hand and was out. Like, you don't want that. But I don't think it wrecks his draft stock at all. I actually think it probably in the hockey world helps it. So I would think that most people would think it's McKenna. When you're in comments, most people are going, tank for McKenna. They're not saying tank for Stenberg. You know what I mean? So this is our opportunity. And again, just a reminder, and that those draft odds are pretty interesting when you think about it, right? And so when you think about it, these are the draft odds. And so right now we have the best draft odds being last place. So hopefully we can win this lottery. And that would make this fan base really happy. So thanks so much for watching this. I hope this was helpful. I hope it made you stop and pause for a second, because I think either one of these guys would be amazing on this roster. And also, I do think that we need to continue to lose next year as well, because this is going to be about a minimum of a 3-year process. And there's another kid named DuPont that is there. He looks really good. I don't know if he'll continue to play good through next season, but it sounds like he grew up enjoying the Canucks as well. We'll see, but he's a defenseman. So we need a lot of forwards. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of things in this team. So hopefully it happens by winning the draft lottery. And but even so, we're going to get a top 3 pick. This is going to help our team. And I'm looking forward to the future of the Vancouver Canucks. So Stay tuned for all the other videos that we're going to be doing. And I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate your support. Hit the like and subscribe, everyone. And hope you have a fantastic day. And of course, always go Canucks, go Team Tank, and let's go win that draft lottery.